500 years ago, there was a legendary battle between Hero Graham and Demon Lord Veltol. One epic clash later, the hero wins, the Demon Lord dies, and the world moves on. Or so they thought. Turns out Veltol pulled a big brain move with reincarnation magic. It actually worked, but instead of waking up in his old kingdom, he finds himself in a world of neon skyscrapers, floating billboards, and cyber-enhanced humans. His medieval fantasy world, Alnith, somehow merged with Earth, and now they call it Fantasian. Before he can even process his new reality, Machina appears, one of his old Six Dark peers, and she has been waiting for his return. Meanwhile, a low-key hacker girl named Takashi drops some juicy info. One of Veltol's old generals, Marcus, is alive and running a mega corporation called Ishimaru Heavy Magical Industries, aka IHMI. Excited to reunite, Veltol heads to Marcus' headquarters, expecting loyalty, but instead, Marcus just spits on his face and makes it clear that he hates the Demon Lord now. Crashing at Machina's tiny apartment in Shinjuku, Veltol has to face his real enemy, Morden Life. Dude was once the most feared being in existence, but now he's eating basic breakfast and is struggling to grasp how society even works. Machina explains that immortals have been disappearing ever since the Immortal Hunt, a brutal purge where humans took revenge on their deathless overlords. Even though it officially ended, something shady is still going on. Since freeloading is not an option, Veltol decides he needs a job. He applies through the commercial guild, but there's a huge problem. He doesn't have a familiar implant. It's basically a digital ID chip that allows the immortals to do magic shit freely. So he's rejected on the spot. Humiliated, he sulks back to Machina, but she drags him to see Takashi. The hacker suggests an alternative career, live streaming, because obviously if world domination isn't an option, you become an influencer. Machina is not on board with the streamer idea. Like most Asian parents, this is not a real job, it's too risky, she says. In the end, Takashi wins the debate and Veltol jumps into the world of internet fame. Within days, his charismatic speeches, absurd confidence, and over-the-top personality make him go viral. Damn, 1 million followers just like that. Later, while walking through the sketchy streets of Shinjuku, Veltol stumbles upon an old washed-up guy and is actually Hero Graham. Turns out the once glorious hero is now a hollow shell of his former self. After defeating the Demon Lord, the world turned against him too, calling him an immortal threat. Now he's just drifting through life full of regrets. As Veltol is processing their conversation, he notices a massive ogre shaking down Takahashi for money. Veltol taps into his Demon Lord abilities, but instead of raw power, he draws strength from his followers. The more faith his followers have in him, the stronger he gets. With one devastating punch, he sends the ogre crashing into a neon billboard. Meanwhile, IHMI is plotting something sinister behind the scenes, but Veltol has no idea yet. Veltol and Takahashi pull off a heist mission, stealing a mysterious cube from a Yakuza gang. The cube is actually a data storage device containing classified information on immortals. After beating the Yakuza thugs and a Magino gear, some high-tech robotic warrior, they crack open the cube and find a chilling truth. IHMI has been kidnapping immortals and using them as fuel for ether energy. Even worse, the entire city is powered by the suffering of these immortals. And to make things even more terrifying, when they try to deliver the data to their client, Eiju, he's already dead because he uncovered the dark truth. Veltol immediately calls Machina, but she doesn't answer. Back at Machina's apartment, a suspicious drone is hovering around. Then there's a knock on the door. Machina opens the door only to find Marcus. He's not alone. He's got Kinohara, his secretary, who shuts down Machina's familia, leaving her completely helpless. By the time Veltol and Takahashi arrive, the place is in ruins. With Takahashi's hacking, they manage to find the culprit. Realizing he cannot do this alone, Veltol swallows his pride and asks Graham for help. At first, Graham is like nah, but after some convincing, he agrees. Now, it's time to go after IHMI. They succeed in sneaking into Marcus' ether facility, but Kinohara is there to welcome them. Meanwhile, Machina wakes up in IHMI's core facility, where Marcus is preparing to dump her into the immortal furnace. Veltol and Graham are fighting Kinohara. Kinohara unleashes her final form, a Magino gear cybernetic battlesuit, but Graham destroys her with the same legendary move that once defeated the Demon Lord. Graham spares Kinohara, who barely survives, and warns them that Marcus is way stronger than they think. They encounter an ambush of Magino gears. With Graham holding the ground, Veltol goes ahead to find Machina. Marcus exposes his plan to become a Demon Lord far stronger than Veltol, and throws Machina into the furnace. Just in the nick of time, Veltol appears and catches catches her at the last second. Velto challenges Marcus to a final battle. Marcus refuses to bow, saying he's prepared for this moment for 500 years. The fight begins and Marcus starts dominating using blood magic. He tears Velto apart literally. With no other option, Velto unleashes his second form that is fueled by the recognition he receives. Thanks to Takahashi, who hacks into the citywide network and broadcasts his identity to the entire Shinjuku city, so Velto gains an insane power boost. Now, he's stronger than ever. Velto thanks Marcus for spurring the advancement of Magitech in this world, allowing him to reach new heights of his magic. With this new form, he doesn't just defeat Marcus, he throws him into his own furnace. That's karma for you. With Marcus gone, Velto sets his sight on finding the rest of his 6 dark peers. Takahashi, the hacker genius, finds a clue: the Akihabara School of Magic. Rumors say a hidden treasure lies beneath it. Team Demon Lord heads to Akihabara and enrolls as exchange students. During their interview, they meet their principal, Trati, head of the powerful Goto clan. She's no fool. She immediately sees through Velto. She reveals that the treasure has been sealed for 500 years, and the only way to unlock it, they need 3 regalia, which are symbolic and functional keys. Despite their philosophical differences, Trati lets them in. Velto, Makina, and Takahashi are now students at the Akihabara School of Magic. Meanwhile, Graham is seen tracking down Goddess Maldia. Hitsuki from the Yamada family, a half-elf classmate, gets harassed by Albert, a noble with an ego bigger than his mana pool. The guy won't shut up about bloodlines and superiority until Velto steps in. Velto claps back, mocking Albert's noble lineage, which immediately triggers the guy. Enraged, Albert challenges Velto to a duel. In the arena, Albert goes all out, throwing his strongest spell at Velto, but Velto barely blinks. With one counterattack, he crushes Albert with concentrated mana, ending the fight in seconds. Even after Velto steps in to help, Hitsuki tells him to stay out of her business. Later, Team Demon Lord heads to a maid cafe, looking to unwind. Surprise! Hitsuki is there, dressed as a maid. The moment she spots them, she freezes. Velto asks Hitsuki for the orb regalia that once belonged to her family, which she replies her family lost it ages ago. But Velto already knew that. Hitsuki explains that Hero Graham originally received the regalia from Goddess Maldia. Before his exile, he passed them down to the founders of the 3 great houses. Now, the descendants hold the 3 regalias. Velto presses Hitsuki to introduce him to the goblin, Cornea, head of the Sabret family, who possesses the crown regalia. After grabbing a meal together, the two visit Cornea, who reveals the truth. When all 3 regalias are brought together, they can unlock the Goddess Maldia's true power. He wants to reshape Akihabara and is willing to help Velto. He says the orb regalia is somewhere in Akihabara, and Hitsuki herself holds the key to finding it. With more questions than answers, the group heads to Hitsuki's house for a sleepover. During their sleepover, Hitsuki reviews her tragic past, including the loss of her parents. While she's processing her emotions, a mysterious figure appears before Velto. The stranger claims to be connected to Hero Graham, and their goal is to change Akihabara, but not in the way Velto expects. They warn him to stay out of it. Elsewhere, Konya is murdered by Trati. The news of his death spreads across Akihabara. The students of Akihabara are also hit with the shocking news. Their favorite professor, Mag, has been caught. Then, Mag appears before Hitsuki, disguised as Trati. Turns out Mag's real plan was to use Hitsuki as a vessel to summon the goddess Maldia. She reveals the truth about Hitsuki's right eye being the orb regalia. Even though Mag fails to control Maldia, she still manages to awaken the goddess. Meanwhile, Makina is locked in a fight with a mysterious girl in a visor. Something about her feels familiar. Then it clicks. This is Mei, her former comrade, someone she once saw as a sister. Before they can fully sort things out, Mag steps in and takes Mei away. Velto is facing Maldia. He goes all out trying to save Hitsuki, but Maldia isn't budging. He tries to reason with Maldia. He suggests she has feelings for Hero Graham. Big mistake. Maldia snaps, unleashing her ultimate form. The fight gets even harder, but then Graham arrives just in time. Seeing him in person throws Maldia off, giving Velto the opening he needs. He pierces her with a soul-rending sword. As she fades away, she realizes the truth that Graham never hated her. He was and always would be a hero. With the battle over, Hitsuki steps up as the rightful king of Akihabara City, but immediately abolishes the throne. Because let's be real, nobody wants that responsibility. She believes there should be no king, and instead hands the power to the city council. Peace is restored. Velto embraces his new life in this crazy futuristic world. because hey, even demon lords need to adapt.
Velto went from ruling an empire to jobless loser to internet celebrities and then a city savior. Not bad for a guy who just woke up from a 500-year nap. I would give this a 6.5 out of 10. The blend of magic and sci-fi surprisingly works, and watching a legendary overlord struggle with job hunting, it's pure gold. But the second half, chaos. The pacing go into overdrive, characters get rushed arcs, and the tone shifts hard from fun to full-on conspiracy stuff. Also, how did he hit 1 million subscribers in just 10 minutes anime runtime? Or maybe 2 minutes? That's your real magic here. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.